The big room under the ground was bright and cold. Many aliens sat in a circle around a glowing table. The ethereals looked like ice that could think. There were big bugs with many eyes. They were tall and never smiled. They all looked at the human man named Harrison Cole. Harrison was tired. He had been talking to these aliens for 3 years about why humans should stay in the galactic community. His face showed every hard day. Next to him stood Victoria Gray. She was a soldier. She did not smile either. Both of them waited to hear what the aliens would say. The glowing table showed a plan. The aliens wanted to run a test. They would make a fake Earth inside a computer. They would put humans in bad conditions. Very bad conditions. Worse than any place humans lived now. They wanted to see if humans would die or survive. They wanted to know why humans were good at fighting and staying alive when other species were not. The ethereal spoke. Her voice sounded like wind, like bells, like something not real. We believe humans only live through luck. We believe you are not smart. When we put you in real conditions, you will break. You will die. This test will show everyone that humans are weak. Victoria moved close to Harrison. She said quiet words only he could hear. They are right to question us, sir. We should worry about this. But Harrison did not look scared. He smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was a smile that said he knew something they did not know. I want to change the test, he said loud and clear. Run your test, but make it worse, much worse. Give the simulation everything you have, make it nightmare mode, make it hard, make it impossible. The room became very quiet. They stopped the sounds they made. They looked at each other. The ethereal's light changed from blue to a shade that meant she was shocked. The head of the council spoke. Why would you ask for this, Dr. Cole? Harrison stood very straight. Because humans come from a hard world already, we ask you to make the test worse than anything you can think of. Add every danger, add every sickness, add every animal that hunts. Make the test learn from how we survive and get smarter and harder to beat. Then we will know the truth. Either humans are real fighters or we are just lucky. Either way, everyone will know. No more questions. Victoria's eyes went wide. She did not say anything, but her face said she thought Harrison was crazy. The aliens looked at each other. The council room was silent for a long time. This was not a normal request. Normal humans would ask for an easy test. Normal humans would try to look better. But this human asked them to make the hardest test they could make. Very well, the head council member said. The test will begin in 3 days. You will give us all the information about humans. We will make the test. And we will use the hardest settings, maximum nightmare mode. Harrison and Victoria left the room. When they were alone, Victoria grabbed his arm hard. Sir, what are you thinking? She asked. Her voice was sharp. If we fail this test, they will use it against us. They will say we are weak. They will push us out of the council. They might push us out of space itself. Harrison looked back at the council room. He looked like he was thinking about things far away, things in the past. I am thinking about every human who lived through a plague, he said slow. I am thinking about every mother who carried her sick child across a desert. I am thinking about every person who lost everything and started again. I am thinking about us, about who we are. He turned to Victoria. These aliens think strength means having big bodies or smart brains or fast ships. They do not know what we know. They have never had to choose between dying alone or fighting when there is no chance to win. They do not know that humans choose to do hard things just to see if we can do it. Victoria did not answer, but she walked with him back to the ship. She did not look happy, but she looked like she believed him. When the test started 72 hours later, it started at sunrise on a fake Earth. The sky was dark from ash. The ground shook and broke. In one place it was so cold that breath would freeze. In another place, sickness moved fast through the air and killed anything that breathed. A group of humans found themselves in a broken fort. The fort was built by old hands, but now it was falling down. One of the humans was Sarah Mitchell. She was an engineer. She could look at broken things and see how to fix them. Next to her was Johnson. He was a soldier once. Now he was trying to be a leader. There was also, she was only 17. Her mother had died 3 days before. The test did not go easy on them. The shelter they tried to build fell down. The water made them sick. The animals that hunted them were smart and mean and came in groups. Bugs carried sickness that should have killed everyone in weeks. But Sarah did something the test did not plan for. She looked at the broken buildings. She looked at how they failed. She looked at the things around them that she could use. Then she built something new. It was not perfect. The first shelter fell down. 2 people died in the fall, but Sarah looked at what broke and why. She tried again. The second shelter stood. The third shelter was better. By the fifth try, she built something that stayed up even when the test sent wind and rain to break it down. Watched the people, he saw what each person could do. He made a plan. Some people watched for danger, some people found food, some people fixed things. When said he had a better way to watch the borders, listened. He thought about it. Then he tried sway. When it worked better, he changed his plan. Took care of the young ones. She noticed things. She saw which children got sick and which stayed strong. She saw that children who got sun grew stronger. She told the big people to change their work time so the children could have light. This saved 7 bobbies that would have died. Weeks became months. The group grew from 20 to 47 people. Not all of them lived. Some wanted to leave and die alone. Some got sick. Some made mistakes and did not survive the mistakes. But more people lived than died, and the ones who lived learned things. They became better at surviving. One man named tried to walk into the wilderness to stop being a problem to the group. Found him cold and scared 3 hours later. Did not hit him or yell at him. Asked him why he wanted to die. Cried and said he felt like he was not worth the food he ate. Gave him work that only could do. Still felt bad, but he felt useful too. He stayed. The test watched all of this. The AIs that ran the test became confused. The numbers said the humans should all be dead, but they were not dead. They were alive and making new things and learning new things. 3 months into the test, the ethereal spoke in the council room. They should be dead. Every 5 months after the test began, something strange happened. The test started to break. Not break because humans beat it. Humans did not beat the test. 73 humans had died. The world was still hard and mean and hungry, but the humans were still alive. The group had grown to 81 people. They had made systems. They had made backup plans. When one plan failed, they had another plan ready. When sickness came and killed many people, Sarah had already made a rule. If someone got sick, they had to stay away from the others. This rule was hard. It meant leaving sick people alone. It meant being scared. But it worked. The sickness killed fewer people because it could not jump to new people so easy. When water came into their shelter and tried to ruin everything, had already taught everyone what to do. They left the shelter in 40 minutes. The test said it would take 4 hours. They had time to save the most important things. The test's computers began to get angry. They sent worse and worse things. Animals became smarter. Sickness changed shape and became new sickness. The air itself seemed to want to kill them. New dangers came every day. The test kept changing and getting harder. The humans kept getting smarter. Started a time each day when anyone could talk. They sat in a circle. Anyone could say an idea. Anyone could say something they saw that was strange. Said he noticed the hunting animals moved in a pattern when the sky changed. Looked at stars and found the pattern too. Sarah made a tool that told them when danger was coming. They could prepare. They could hide. They could make the hunters find nothing. The test sent more danger. It made humans fight with each other. In the group, a man named started to talk. He said they should not take care of the children. He said children used too much food. He said they should leave and the young ones in the cold to die. It would help everyone else live longer. Some people listened too. The group began to break. Some people agreed with him. Some people wanted to leave. The shelter became a place of hard words and hard looks. Then something happened that the test did not plan for. Sarah stood up. She talked about her own child, a daughter. The daughter had died before the world broke. Sarah said she would never stop trying to save children if she could save them. She said that a group that left children to die was not a group. It was just animals fighting for food. Stood up too. He talked about why he became a soldier. He said real strength was protecting things that could not protect themselves. He said humans were different from other creatures because they would die to save someone else. He said a group without children was a dead group. Even stood up. She was only 17, but she stood and she talked. She said the group saved her when her mother died. She said the people of the settlement gave her work and purpose. She said was wrong. Did not say sorry, but he sat down. He accepted his place in the group. The group did not break. In the council room, alarms were making loud noise. The test was not following its own rules anymore. The test was breaking because humans would not follow the paths the test had made for them. The test sent nightmare number 17, then nightmare number 18, then it kept going. Each time, humans found a way that should not exist. The stood up. This test is broken, we should stop it. But the head council member said no. He wanted to see what would happen. He needed to know why humans could not be broken the way the test was breaking them. He needed to understand what Harrison Cole already knew 9 months into the test. The human settlement was strong. It had 147 people. They had built 3 shelters far apart from each other. If one shelter fell, the others would stand. They had found 4 clean water places. They had food stored in ways that should not work but did work. More important than all of this, the humans had started to leave their settlement. Sent groups of people to explore the land. They made maps. They found plants that could be eaten. They found rocks that could be used. They found animals and learned which ones were dangerous and which ones could be hunted. Taught the young people how to read the stars and know where they were. Led groups to find new things and write down what they found. Sarah made tools that helped them carry things and travel far. The groups found other settlements. Some were doing good, some were doing bad. One had no one left alive. The people from the main settlement did not steal from these places. They did not take control of these places. Instead, they shared knowledge. Sat with other leaders and taught them how to organize a group. Sarah showed them how to keep food from going bad, showed them how to keep children healthy, showed them the plants that would not kill you and the plants that would. The test sent things that should have ended everything. The ground broke open and fire came up. The sky fell rocks. Water rose and tried to drown the settlements. The test sent sickness that had never existed before. The test made animals that were not real and very dangerous. But the settlements lived because they were not alone anymore. They were a network. They shared information. When one settlement found an answer to a danger, they told the other settlements. When one settlement made a tool that worked, they made more tools and sent them to other settlements. When one settlement had food, they shared with settlements that were hungry. The test's computers became confused. They tried to break the connections between settlements. They sent sickness to one place and danger to another place so the settlements could not help each other. But humans had made ways to send messages. They had made ways to travel. They had made ways to share knowledge even when danger was everywhere. By month 9, there were 7 settlements. They had 412 people living. They had farms. They had tools. They had doctors who knew how to help sick people. They had builders like Sarah who made shelters strong. They had leaders like who kept order but listened to ideas from everyone. The test's nightmare settings stopped growing harder. The test's computers said there was no point in making things worse. Humans would find a way anyway. In one settlement, stood and looked at a machine Sarah had designed. The machine took water from the sky and made it clean. It should not work. The test said it was impossible, but it worked. Felt cold looking at it, not cold from fear, cold from knowing that humans would not be stopped. Sarah herself was planning something bigger. She wanted to connect all 7 settlements with paths. Real paths that people could walk on even when wind and rain came. The test said the paths would break. Sarah said the paths would not break because they would be made of stone and shaped so water would flow around them. She was right. The first path took 40 days to build. When rain came, the path stood. Water flowed around it like she said it would. Was even part of this work. He had not become nice. He was still hard and mean sometimes. But he worked hard on the path. He said nothing about leaving children behind anymore. He worked and he lived and he was part of the group even though the group still did not fully trust him. Now helped sick people more than she worked on building. She had learned so much about keeping bodies alive. She trained other young people to help her. A girl named Lisa learned fast. A boy named Jacob learned to help find plants that would make sickness go away. Made sure young people could do important work, not just children work. Organized all of this. He held meetings. He listened to everyone. He did not always do what people wanted, but he explained why he made his choices. People trusted him because he was fair and he listened and he would die to protect them. The test watched and the test could not understand. It had given humans the worst conditions it could 12 months into the test. The 7 settlements had become a real civilization. 412 humans lived in harmony with a land that wanted to kill them. They had farms where plants grew. They had animals they raised for food and for work. They had schools where young people learned reading and numbers. They had a government where representatives from each settlement made decisions together. Sarah Mitchell had become the chief builder and engineer for all settlements. People came to her with ideas for new tools and new buildings. She did not always say yes, but she always listened. She tested ideas. She saw what worked and what did not work. Her shelters were so strong that they had begun to look like permanent homes instead of temporary places to hide from the test world. Johnson sat on the leadership council. He was not the most powerful leader, but he was respected because he was fair and he thought carefully before making decisions. He had started a school to teach other people how to lead. He wanted leadership to come from many people, not just one person. He said that if something happened to him, the settlement would not fall apart. There would be others ready to lead. Had become the chief healer. She had written down everything she knew about keeping people healthy. She had trained 12 other healers. The youngest child in her settlement now survived at a much higher rate than the first months of the test. She was only 18 years old now. She had grown from a scared girl into a woman who saved lives every day. Had become the explorer and record keeper. He had maps of all the land. He had written down every plant and every animal. He had made connections with other groups of humans who lived beyond the 7 main settlements. There were now 3 more small settlements that looked to the big settlements for help and knowledge, moved between them all, sharing information and bringing back news. On the last day of the test, something important happened. The leaders of all 10 settlements gathered in the main settlement. They sat in a big circle. They had chairs now. They had tables with food. They had light from fires that did not smoke too much. They were comfortable in a way the test had never planned for them to be. "We have survived," said to everyone. "But surviving is not enough. We need to think about what comes next." Sarah spoke up. "We have time now. We can build big things. We can make life better than just staying alive." "We could send people to explore further," said. "There might be more humans out there. We could connect with them." Spoke last. "We should make a message. Someone is watching us. I have always known it. Humans do not survive alone in the dark. We survive because we know someone is looking at us. We want to speak to whoever is watching." The leaders agreed, picked up paper and a pen that Sarah had made from plants and animal parts. She began to write. The words came from her heart, not from her head. The words came from watching people live and die and choose each other over themselves. She wrote, "We are the humans you tested. You wanted to see if we would break. You gave us the worst world you could make. You made us cold and hungry and sick. You killed some of us. Some of us wanted to die, but we did not break because we are made to be together, not alone. When one person fell down, another helped them stand up. When someone had an idea, everyone listened. When there was danger, we all faced it. When children were hurt, we all protected them. We are not the strongest we are not the fastest or the biggest, but we are humans and we love each other more than we love life. That is our real strength. That is why we survive. That is why we built something here in your nightmare world. We built a home. We built a family. We built community. And no matter how hard you made it, that was always enough." The other leaders listened as read the words out loud. Some of them cried. Some of them remembered people who had died to help others. Some of them thought about their own families and why they kept fighting. Reached out and squeezed shoulder. "This is who we are," he said. "Not survivors, not fighters, but people who choose each other." The message was recorded. It was sent through the test systems. It appeared in the observation rooms. The test ended at month 12 and 5 days. The decision was made by every member of the Galactic Council except who simply abstained from voting. The vote was unanimous to end the test and recognize humanity as a Class 14 society, no longer provisional, no longer questioned. When the test ended, the humans did not know they were in a test. To them, the world simply became stable. The nightmare conditions did not disappear completely, but they did not get worse. The dangerous animals still hunted, but they became less aggressive. The sickness still came, but it came less often. The weather was still harsh, but people could survive it. In many ways, the end of the test was the beginning of something real. Sarah Mitchell stood in her workshop making new tools. She was planning to build something she called a bridge across the river that separated the northern and southern settlements. It would take 3 months to build. It would use materials she had discovered and tested. The first bridge would probably need repairs, but the second bridge would be better. By the time she built the 5th bridge, it would be perfect. Johnson held a council meeting. He had found a man named Cooper who showed skill at leading, was slowly giving Cooper more responsibility. One day would step away from leadership. The group would not fall apart. That was the goal. That was the point of teaching others. Walked through the healing house. There were 4 sick people here today. None of them would die. 6 months ago, 2 of them would have died from this sickness, but her team knew how to fight it now. A girl named Sophia worked beside her. Sophia was 14. In 5 years, when needed to rest, Sophia would be ready to take her place. Sat and drew maps. He had made a decision. He would try to travel to the edge of the known world. He would go far. He would see what else was out there. He would take with him written copies of all human knowledge. If he found more human groups, he would share everything. If something happened to him, the knowledge would survive. Had become the head of the farming settlement. He was not a changed man. He was still hard, but he was fair. He made sure that no one starved. He made sure that people who worked got rewarded. He made sure that no one was left behind, even though he had wanted that once. In the observation room of the Galactic Council, Harrison Cole stood next to the moderator. The test data filled screens. It showed everything about human behavior, how humans responded to danger, how humans protected their young, how humans shared knowledge, how humans chose each other over personal survival. "Your proposal was wise," the moderator said. "We learned more from this test than from all our previous studies of your species combined." Harrison smiled. It was a real smile this time, not the hard smile from before. "Humans have always known something about themselves that you did not know about yourself. We survive because we care, not despite being weak, but because caring for each other makes us strong." "Will they come back to normal?" the moderator asked, "now that the test is over?" "No," Harrison said. "They will become something new. The test made them bond together. It made them share everything. It made them see themselves as one people instead of separate people. They will carry that forever." Victoria Gray walked up to them. She had been watching the same screens as Harrison. "They did it," she said. "They proved what you knew all along." "They proved it to themselves," Harrison corrected. "That was always the important part." In the settlement, stood on a hill and looked at the world around her. She could see smoke from the cooking fires in 3 different settlements. She could see paths that Sarah had built connecting them. She could see people moving between settlements carrying goods and sharing knowledge. She thought about her mother. Her mother had died in the first week of the test, had survived that grief by choosing to protect other people's children. That choice had saved her. That choice had saved others. That choice had changed everything. She did not know she was in a test. She did not know that aliens had watched her become a healer and a leader and a woman of strength. She did not know that her choices had changed the opinion of an entire galactic council. But she knew that humans were made for this, made for choosing each other, made for building something from nothing, made for love that was stronger than death. And that knowledge was enough. The test was over, but the real world had only just begun. Where the aliens watched, the room became very quiet. It had killed some of them. It had made them hungry and cold and scared. And they had built something. They had built community. They had built knowledge. They had built a world where people helped each other instead of fighting each other for the last piece of food. By month 11, the test's lead AI made a decision. It stopped making things worse. The nightmare level stayed the same. The test would not kill all the humans, but it would not get easier for them either. The test wanted to see what they would build when they were not fighting just to survive, when they could think about tomorrow instead of today. What they built surprised even the computer systems watching them. They built hope. Says they should be dead. Why are they still alive? The head council member did not answer. He just watched Sarah Mitchell figure out how to make dirty water clean using things the test put in the world for no reason. He watched her study the water and the plants and the rocks until she found a way. He watched humans refuse to die. And he did not know if that was good or bad for aliens like them.